On the ride home that night, after another almost cursed day, I couldn't help but think back to the raven. Not just the way it watched me, but what it might have seen. The raven, one of the most known representations of death, became an almost welcome new symbol for my renewed despair. After Sarah took Noah, there were many days like that day, when I truly believed death would be easier than enduring the life I was left with. Maybe that sounds overly dramatic, and maybe it is, but I do think that feeling was the main reason I went to see Lucian Graves in the first place. There is no other way to put it. My days all look the same, and my nights feel more like slow drownings. All I want is peace, even if it's the kind of peace that you never come back from. Contrary to my desire, I didn't get much sleep that night. I never really do anymore. I feel like I've spent a lifetime running from one problem to another, all of which robs me of enough peace to actually get any real rest. But remembering what I did at Lucian Graves' house, I felt at least I didn't run then. I stayed, and I cleaned. Maybe that's nothing for most people, but for someone like me, lately, that was a lot. Knowing what else I did once again at Ruby's, I still had that sinking gut feeling from guilt when I woke, though. I kept thinking I could clean a filthy house. I can face a fading ghost. I could even stare down a gawking raven, but I couldn't keep a promise to my son. I've asked myself over and over again, what's wrong with me? But every time I think I'm getting closer to an answer, I realize I'm still blaming someone I barely knew. No matter whether it was from above or the ghost below. Noah had been at his grandma's that weekend, just a little over an hour away. Once I finally got his mother to let me, I promised him I'd stop by, even if it was just for a few minutes. I'm sure he was waiting for me, but I never showed up, and his grandmother wouldn't let me speak to him on the phone after I didn't. I guess I, and Lucian Graves, do have more in common than I would have ever thought or hoped for. The main difference is, with his disappearance, it was all at once, and mine has been little by little over the past month or so. That next day at work, I did what I needed to do, but like with most things in my life, I have a way of just getting by. I can go through the motions as well as anyone. I can smile when I need to. I can even laugh or joke around when I feel the time is right. But the truth is, me and being okay couldn't have been any further from the truth. I know I am the Judas of my own life. As sad as that sounds, I'm the one betraying myself through the choices I keep making. I've lost count of how many times I've screamed at the heavens, begging for any kind of answer, anything that might help me change who I've become. But like I said, the answers to my prayers have always been silent, and to me, that silence feels like the greatest betrayal. I guess, in the end, I am just a man sitting with time. Not with answers, not with help, just time. Time I've mostly wasted, and time I'm not even sure I want anymore. Death, to me, gets a free pass anyway. Where life can be full of betrayal, heartbreak, and broken promises, death never lies. It doesn't pretend to be something it's not. With death, you know where you stand, and you don't wake up wondering if it will walk out on you. On the second day, my trip to Lucian Graves' house didn't start out on the old porch swing, and I didn't look up to see if that raven was still there. This time, I was numb to my surroundings and looked at my next visit as just another expected disappointment. It felt like his house was just another stop in a life full of rejection, but I still went. Even I knew disappointment feels better than being alone most of the time. On my return visit, I went straight up to the door and knocked. A nurse let me in right away. Lucian Graves was still looking frail and slouched down in the sheets, but his eyes were cracked open just a little. It was just enough to let me know that he was still inside somewhere. I pulled up one of the old high-back wooden chairs I'd dusted off the day before and sat down beside him. In truth, I didn't know if he'd recognize me, or if he could recognize anyone anymore. His eyes moved a little, but there was no light, no sign of acknowledgement, just that half-open stare that made me wonder if he was stuck somewhere between here and wherever it is we go next.